Knowledge Adventure. Have fun. Get smart.
Hello there, fellow YouTubers. Rocky54167, and here is part 2 of my 3rd year anniversary of being on YouTube. And here it is, people, a box of which has all my old Packard Bell games in it. Unfortunately, I've lost a lot of the discs over the years, so discs that didn't originally come with it are in the box, but the main core discs are. But today, as you know, started off, I'm going to do a review. Here it is. Here's the Packard Bell Restore disc. This is a thing that is corrupt. Floppy for many of you people who've played the Windows versions of the game and never had to encounter a floppy. But I think if you were born before 2000, you should remember a floppy disk. Here it is. The first game I posted on YouTube 3 years ago today, on January 4th, 2009. While I understand it is not the exact date when I originally posted these, I'm trying to make this week like the original week when I posted them. This game is going to be reviewed. Now keep in mind this is the actual Packard Bell version of the MS-DOS game, and there is some things missing, like a couple of patients in the emergency room, and if I remember reading that there were a couple of music and movies missing. I do plan on getting the original OEM DOS version, which isn't a Packard Bell bundle. And also, I plan on getting the Windows remake. I already have another bundled version of this game that came with another computer. I can't remember what it was, but it is this exact same disc. It is missing a couple of patients. Anyways, let's dive into DOSBox and review the first game, 3D Body Adventure. Three years ago, this is how I started out my first sample video of 3D Body Adventure. I even started it out the same way, putting in the CD at the last minute. Action. I can also say, as you guys know, these games impacted me a lot as a kid. It was we're opening Windows 3.1, instead of opening in the Knowledge Adventure folder, which I don't remember what I did in past videos, I'm going to actually pull up where 3D Body Adventure was in
Welcome to the main
the
menu
actual
of
Packard Bell,
the
instead
easy
of
way
in the
to
Knowledge
get to know
Adventure
and
folder.
use your Packard Bell
And this
computer.
way, once it opens up, the way I would have on my Windows 95. Yes, so these folders for some reason transferred over to my Windows 95, and this Windows you're seeing right here. "3D Body Adventure," along with all the other ones except 3D Dinosaur Adventure, was in the Multimedia Applications folder. And the only games I do not have that are in this folder is the Mega Race. Now we start up classic game, 3D Body Adventure. Now, to be honest, this opening is cool, but at the same time kind of disappointing when you see Undersea Adventures and 3D Dinosaur Adventures. You'd expect some movie to play, but instead it just shows you the reference center skeleton. Then when we get to the main screen right now, you have about 4 options to choose, 5 if you include the exit, which would take you back to the Knowledge Adventure game loader. And the first one we're going to pick is the first one I did in the sampler, the 3D Body Movie Theater.
To select a movie, click on one of the 5 movie icons displayed across the bottom of the screen.
Now in the movie theater you have about 15, 16 movies to choose
on the right
from.
side of the screen. Use the scroll buttons to display additional movie icons.
Here we go. And I've posted all the movies from this game, as I have from all the other games except Speed, because I do think Speed is copyright. Why'd I click that? Hold on, let me click on the one that will quickly see all the movies. Okay, we got 5, 10. There's one of the ones that Powerpup 97 doesn't like, but those are the only 3 movies you can't view in full screen. Before I forget, all the other movies you can view in small screen and 3D or in regular, and you can view them in full screen, 3D and regular. Like the Heart video we're gonna watch now, we're gonna watch in regular screen 3D. The only 3 you can't watch in full screen is the Heart Attack movies and the other 2 cartoon Heart movies. Now, you see, the one thing I actually loved about this game is that Even though
White
it's small,
atrium.
like in the movie theater, it actually tells you what parts of the heart
bell.
you're going through. Like right now, it's naming all the
Right
important
ventricle.
parts. Whereas in the other games,
Pulmonary
well,
valve.
in the other games, there really was no need to explain during the
Pulmonary
movie.
artery.
But the narrator you hear here was in the remake of Undersea Adventure and the remake of 3D Dinosaur Adventure. So I assume he was in the remake of 3D Body Adventure. This movie was always my favorite because
Left atrium.
I felt like you were in a dark area, but when you went into
Mitral
this
valve.
movie, you actually hid from the darkness. I don't know, it's just something I used to think as a
Left
kid.
ventricle. Aortic valve. Aorta.
Alright, we're almost done with this movie, and like I said, now, I'm not a graphic person. I want people to understand that, like I said when I originally did these reviews. I am a person who will play the video game as long as the video game is good. I play the original 8-bit Super Mario Brothers, I play Donkey Kong, I have an Atari, which I'm trying to work on, I have the N64, PlayStation, and obviously, by today's standards, a lot of these graphics are considered dumb. But the graphics you see in this game, I think, hold up better than Donkey Kong Country graphics. Hell, even better than my PlayStation 1 graphics in this movie, in the movies. The main reason I say the movie is because the hospital does have some flaws, but this right here has some great graphics. Now here's the Heart movie. Sorry if this is a bit skippy. I didn't have the CPU speed up to speed until about halfway through it. Like I said, right here we're picking it up, and this already is up. And if I said Heart, I meant the Blood movie. I'm sorry. Now I don't remember if this named anything, and while I'm recording the audio over the video through a microphone, and I'm not listening to the actual audio, I'm just watching the video. But I do think all the movies except a couple of them, they explain what processes were happening inside of you. Now this movie and the Brain Synapse movie for some reason always just scared me when I was a kid. I don't know why, they just did. There was just something about the music and the eeriness of it. Once again, if you want to see these full movies, they are on my page. I posted them back in 2009, both in regular screen, non-3D and 3D, and full screen, 3D and non-3D. Now, like I said earlier, just look at the graphics on this. Okay, you could play Donkey Kong Country, and Donkey Kong Country was legendary for this time. But you look at this game, and I just think the graphics are better. I mean, I think they're even better than Super Mario RPG. And I even dare to say these graphics are better than the original Spyro, except the outside of the hospital, which is fully 16-bit. Now, for graphics that you're seeing here, this is a 16-bit game. With pre-rendered 3D objects, I think it's just amazing that some of these are... I don't think some of these have ever really dated. Now, we're going to watch just one more movie, and this one is actually a personal favorite of mine, Digestive Tract, and here's another one that shows great graphics. So we're going to watch regular screen, non-3D one, or no, regular screen, yeah, non-3D. Now this one right here, there was a Rugrats game I had for the computer, the Rugrats Adventure game.
Stomach.
This entire video reminds me of the, well actually I shouldn't say that because I played this game first. But there was a section where you had to climb through the garbage in order to get somewhere. That entire section of the Rugrats Adventure game reminded me of this right here. I wonder if there was any influence from this game. Like I said, when I was a kid, I was the only one who even knew this game existed. I don't know how well it sold. All I know is that the one time I contacted Knowledge Adventure, they said they had no support for the game, and I had to talk to some guy who actually was with the company back in 1994.
Ascending
Here we go, we're going out the colon, and in this video it names the processes you're going through. And I mean, that's really educational to what the game was aimed for. That's why I've always said, I think the educational value in this game has held up, even though some of it probably is dated, seeing how it's from 1994. Now we're going to head back to the main screen, and it's really easy to head back to the main screen by clicking the body button. Beforehand, I'm just going to get it back to, nope, I'm going to click the screen now. One of the cool things about this game is that the movie theater computer, which you can see in the game, you can actually click buttons and it'll show certain clips from certain movies. I don't know why I paused there, but you can see certain clips from or previews from the movies in there. And
prepare for body imaging
I just thought
and
that was cool.
exploration.
And now, where I headed in the original sample video, the next place is the 3D Body Reference Center. This guy's gonna walk in, and that's the skeleton. Now here, I know we've talked about this in the comment section, but Knowledge Adventure really did have a knack for scaring kids back in the early 1990s. And, well, some of the stuff they talk about in the Reference Center, well, it is real helpful if you're writing a bio project.
Exploring.
Just some of the stuff they talk about here
click on the
really
rotate
is like,
body
why
icon.
is this even in a kid's
Use the
game?
arrow
And I'll
keys
show you
or
some
move
of
the
them.
mouse to rotate the body. Click the mouse or hit any key to get a cursor.
Now, this is how it started out, and guys giving right now, welcome to 3D Body Adventure, and begin exploring. Click anywhere on the body. The first place we're going to go to is the heart.
The
Where I
heart.
believe the first place we went to in the sample video was too. Now, the cool thing about the heart was that it was a lot like the movie version of the heart, except you went in through different entrances and saw different aspects of the heart. Now, 3D Body Adventure, unlike 3D Dinosaur and Undersea Adventure, it did not contain the same movies from the movie theater in the reference center, but instead had movies that you can control going through, like the heart, for example. This is the only one you can go through. All the other ones, the only thing you can do is rotate them around, but you did have some options to make them wireframe. And I will make my comments about that when the time is ready. But here we go, exiting the heart.
The heart is a powerful pump that beats
And after that,
continuously.
now it's going to explain to you, basically, no, not the clicks. I'm going to show the 3D version now. It is cool because you can go 3D and full screen too. And you basically get the same thing, and the heart makes sound effects when you fly over it. I also thought the heart movie and the heart reference section movie had the coolest music in the game. Another than comment on the graphics, when you go into the heart, it's really cool. I mean, it doesn't look like a real heart, but the 3D graphics are pretty cool. And even though the 3D effects are a bit corny, it's still cool because it's coming out of the computer screen. And it surprises me that these games never got bigger than what they did. I think the graphics should have helped them. But then again, this game did scare a lot of kids too, so. One of the things about 3D Body Adventure that differs it from all the other 6 Knowledge Adventure games I have is that you can get the text in full screen too, and it still reads to you. Not like 3D Dinosaur Adventure and the text reads to you. One of the narrators reads it, which all 3 of them I know for a fact were in 3D Dinosaur Adventure. I thought it was the one, but I'm remembering now all 3 of them were.
The blood throughout the body.
And 2 of them were in
heart
Undersea
has 4
Adventure.
separate
And
chambers.
if they were in 3D Dinosaur and Undersea Adventure, the remakes, then I'm positive they probably would have been in the 3D Body Adventure
to pump
remake.
the blood back out. Each of these 4
Now,
chambers has a
when
one-way
my uncle
valve
originally
to
installed
ensure
these
that blood
games, he only
flow is
installed them with
always
the
in
minimal
the
sound
forward
effects, so
direction.
he only got the music.
The heart
When
is
these
actually
parts of the
better
game
described
would
as 2
play,
pumps that
I thought
act
the
in
game was
series.
haunted or
With
something like
each
that
beat,
because the text
the
wouldn't
right
move and I'd have to
ventricle
click it to
pumps
stop. I
deoxygenated
didn't
blood
understand
to the
why the
lungs,
music would become
and the left
lower
ventricle pumps
and the text
oxygenated
would
blood to
all
the
of a
body.
sudden
The
go
two
or
sides
start
of the
moving.
heart
I'd
are
have to
not
click and it would
identical,
stop.
however.
Same thing with 3D
The
Dinosaur
left
and Speed.
ventricle is much thicker and stronger than the right ventricle. Why is this so? It is easy to see that the right and left sides of the heart must always pump the same volume of blood. If they didn't, serious bottlenecks would develop in the circulation. However, the resistance to blood flow is much greater in the body than it is in the lungs. The left ventricle, thus, has to work harder and contract more forcefully to keep up with the right ventricle. This explains why the left ventricle has much thicker muscular walls than the right ventricle. Let us follow the course of a single red blood cell in more detail as it moves through the heart. At the outset of the journey, the blood cell returns from the body via the vena cava and enters the right atrium. The right atrium contracts and pumps the blood cell across the tricuspid valve and into the right ventricle. Soon after that, the right ventricle contracts and pumps the blood cell across the pulmonic valve and into the pulmonary artery. The blood cell can then go either right or left to enter one of the lungs. While in the lungs, the blood cell unloads carbon dioxide and picks up oxygen. Next, the blood cell returns to the left atrium via one of the pulmonary veins. The blood cell then crosses the mitral valve to enter the left ventricle. At this point, the left ventricle
That went a bit
contracts
longer than I
forcefully to send
expected,
the
and I
blood
don't want the
cell
review
across
to
the aortic
run
valve
longer
and
parts, but
out
see how
into
we
the
can upload
body.
longer videos to
After
YouTube.
unloading its oxygen
But
somewhere in the
I
body,
just ended it
the
there
blood
and
cell
put it back in
enters a
full
vein
screen, and now we're
returns
going to travel
via
on to the
vena
next body
cava
organ.
to the right atrium,
No,
where
it's
it
just
can
stuff
begin
like
the
that
cycle
that makes
once
me...
again.
It
On
shows the
average,
educational
this whole
value, and that's
journey
why I let
takes
my
about
sister
2
play. It
minutes.
just makes me
Red blood cells
astonished that
only
Knowledge
last
Adventure
about
put that
4
much
months before
in
they
a
wear
game.
out.
I mean,
But
that's why I say I'm surprised that these games never were bigger than what they were.
The heart is a powerful
So
pump.
now, moving on, I didn't see that we only had a couple of parts of text left. Now we're going to the spleen. Now the spleen also offers
The spleen
the
is
wireframe
an organ
setting,
whose
which we
major
are in right now, and you can do it in 3D, you can make it closer, you can make it farther away. I never understood why it couldn't zoom on it, but probably because it would be pointless, because all it did was just rotate. You couldn't really go into it. And even on the spleen, there is a lot of educational value there.
The spleen.
The spleen.
Welcome
Now,
to the Body Adventure
3D
Index.
Body Adventure, and 3D Dinosaur Adventure, and Space all have indexes, so you can find stuff easier. Now in this game, I'm going to show the darker side of this game.
AIDS virus.
Hold on.
Every time period appears to have had its own
And
scourges.
this is something
And
that
our
was
time is no
very
different.
new at the time.
Today,
and
the health
to be honest, I'm
community
surprised
and the
it's even
public
in the game.
are
The
confronted
AIDS
with the
virus,
AIDS
which
problem.
comes from HIV.
AIDS
And
stands
it even
for
tells you
acquired
how you can get
immunodeficiency
HIV.
syndrome.
I don't know about you, but
AIDS
when
is
I
a
first
clinical
found out
condition
about this
in
virus,
which the
I
body
freaked
repeatedly
out.
succumbs
I
to
was scared.
opportunistic infections
I couldn't even
because
believe
of a
that
weakened immune
something
system.
existed. And the game,
AIDS is
like, I'm
caused
going to
by
let the
the
text go on,
human
but the text goes
immunodeficiency
in
virus,
depth
HIV.
into
Thus far,
how
it
you can
appears
catch
that all
it.
individuals
And
who
that's why I said
contract
this
HIV
game had a real
will
great
eventually
educational
develop
value.
AIDS, a uniformly fatal disease. There are medications that slow the course of the disease, but no definite cure is on the horizon. One would think that the answer to the problem lies in an effective vaccine, but scientists have thus far been unable to make such a vaccine. HIV is an unusual virus in that it attacks the very cells in the immune system whose normal role would be to kill the virus. No such virus had ever previously been isolated. Fortunately, the routes of HIV transmission are well understood and show no signs of changing. At present, it is only possible to contract HIV by exposure to either blood or genital tract secretions from an infected person. Unprotected sex with infected partners and needle sharing remain the most common routes of transmission by far. Exposure to HIV through blood transfusions was largely eliminated in the mid-1980s, when screening tests for HIV became available. The picture above shows a virus Welcome to the Body Adventure
This next one I think is just on the appropriate
Newly
level
born.
being put on YouTube.
Breastfeeding
I can't
is the
actually
natural
even
method
believe
of
this was
feeding
in the game,
infants.
but
It
it's the
was a-
newly born section, and what do you show is a lady breastfeeding her kid, and it actually shows most of the boob except the nipple. Now, I'm not saying I don't like boobs, okay? But the point I'm trying to put it is when you're 5 years old, do you really want to be seeing that stuff? I mean, if you're a boy, you'd go, ew, cooties, and if you were a girl, you'd be like, why is that even in here? And to be honest, I'm surprised they just did not have a picture of a baby, but here you are, you can see the full-blown thing. See the baby sucking on the mom's nipple, and hold on, and you can even zoom it, you can get it in full screen right there, as you can see. There's the baby sucking on the mom's nipple, and I just think that's in the barely appropriate part. You can even make it in 3D. Let's just say you're a boy and this is the first time you're curious. I mean, when I was really getting curious before I stopped playing this game when I was about 9 years old, yeah, I looked at this. And the other thing is, I do know they have a picture of a penis in this game, but you actually get to see a breast in this game, like right there, close up. You can also do a zoom photo of it right there. I mean, even though it's not the actual thing, it describes what it is. And no, I'm not being perverted or anything, but it kind of was. I'm just surprised it didn't show a girl with a bra or anything. And it does go into cancer in this game, which, to be honest, I'm surprised they even had in a kids game. And to be honest, it's no wonder why 3D Body Adventure was the most freaky kids game. It talks about AIDS, heart attacks, all these deadly diseases, rabies. But the cool thing is it talks about the first vaccine. In close-up, I meant it could probably better explain the breast than just having a picture of a girl breastfeeding her kid, or a picture of even a boob.
The eye.
But now we move on to the last one, the eye, before I cut out of part 1 where the original sample video ended back in 2009. And once again we see great 3D imaging graphics from Knowledge Adventure. This is Rocky54167, and get ready for part 2 of the 3D Body Adventure review.